And you've got a name like Philippe Gilbert, and people just say Gilbert, but yeah, it's the brother of Philippe, Jerome, and yeah, sometimes we get brothers that race together in the past, and yeah, everybody was expecting Jerome to, this is the rider at the front, number 106, to be very similar to his brother, and they're not at all.
Well, they're different trajectories as well. I mean, yeah. Jerome is 29 now, but he only became a professional just over a year ago. He'd been riding in the sort of semi-pro amateur ranks and riding a lot of these big races in those teams. Remember, he's a guy who's not really won anything in his career, but he's ridden the Tour of Flanders, Liège-Bastogne-Liège, which is home country for him, and the Flèche Wallonne as well. So he has experience, despite the fact he always hasn't been a full professional. He's actually combined it with, I think it's selling electrodomestics in his other life, his other working life, let's say. I think he's given up most of that.
I think, you know, he was there and thereabouts, probably kind of ranked lower than somebody that would be given an opportunity. But it's because he's the brother of Philippe Gilbert, and obviously Gilbert knows a lot of riders, and especially teams in this part of the world, in Belgium, and Accent Jobs have given him an opportunity. And maybe the publicity that comes with it, being the brother, that's again part and parcel of our sport, and you know, the PR, as we see one of the Katusha riders at an off earlier on today. But yeah, that's part and parcel of it. It's all about the publicity you can get, and obviously Jerome Gilbert given an opportunity, being the brother of Philippe Gilbert, the current world champion, and you know, he gets some breakaways. Okay, he's not managed to get any major results, but he's been given an opportunity, and you know, hats off to him. It's difficult living up to your brother, because he was king of the classics over the last few years. Okay, he hasn't managed to do it this year, but he's still world champion. He's still a classic bike rider, and possibly if he goes to the Vuelta or goes, you know, to the World Championships again, if he wins the World Championships again. I know that Chris Froome has said after the Tour de France that he wants to target that, and maybe it will suit him, but only if he finishes alone, I would think. But Philippe Gilbert, again, is the sort of course in Tuscany that will suit his style as well. So if you don't do anything all year and win the World Championships, then people think you've had a successful year. But still yet without a win this year, Philippe Gilbert.
No win in the World Championships jersey, in fact. No win since that win in Limburg last year. Chance to try and defend it and pick up the win in Tuscany. It's going to be such an exciting race next month. Finishing in Florence, of course. Now the man at the front is František Rabon, Czech rider for Omega Pharma Quickstep. Just behind him, Jürgen van der Walle, who we saw in plenty of action yesterday. Both of these men, in fact, doing more or less the same job as they were doing yesterday. And just to go back to the rider we saw on the floor a moment ago, that was in fact Maxim Belkov, the Russian rider wearing 61 for Team Katusha. 6 minutes and 45. Gap coming down rather progressively now. Of course, they won't want to catch them too early, because there aren't too many obstacles before that. They'll just want to time it quite nicely here, Brian.
Yeah, it is about timing. You got to remember there's no race radio, so they will ride quite hard, because the gap was over 13 minutes at one point. So with 4 riders away, you can just see the gap coming down under 7 minutes, with 74.5 kilometres to go to the finish. And normally in a World Tour race with the race radios, they will be possibly sitting at this moment maybe about 7 minutes. But they're not far off, as you can see the time gap. Normally we can adjudge a stage like today with not too many difficulties towards the finish. I know we have got a climb, a third category climb, after 190 kilometres with 7 kilometres to go. So again, talking about for every 10 kilometres 1 minute they can shave off. But by the looks of Franti Rebon and Van der Walle at the front, they're riding quite hard, and that's why the gap is coming down fairly quickly. Since we've been on air, it's coming down fairly quickly.
6:40, rider at the back there, wearing the white. We mentioned him as one of the larger men in the peloton. Almost looks like he's riding a Charles bike at times, such as the size of him compared to his machine.
It's amazing you get so many riders like this in Belgium, big strong lads, and they can certainly turn their gear at 53.11. They can turn that round, but put a climb like yesterday and towards the finish, and you'll not see them. But put them on a kind of flat race, even a Kermesse race, and they'll rip the legs off you. But Belgium always produce big, strong riders.
Well, the rider in question there, as we focus in on Jérôme Gilbert again, was Ludwig de Winter. Just 20 years of age. Actually was twice champion of his region of Hainaut, the region we were talking about yesterday, which is majoritarily this region itself in 2012 and 2013. This year he won again that regional title and has been riding this colour code Biovanza outfit ever since he joined from Verandas Willems Cycling Club in Chevigny.
I'll tell you what, he's only in a third division team, continental team, in his first year as a 20-year-old, and he's in the breakaway in a fairly big enough race, you know, an 8C race here. So, you know, hats off to him. Most 20-year-olds riding the first year as a continental team would probably try and duck and dive, stay in the bunch, but, you know, he's given it a good go, and hats off to him, really.
Well, Christophe Prémont we mentioned yesterday as well. 23 years of age, he's at the front there in the green jersey of the Crellon Euphony team. Neo-pro as well. Rode for the Wallonie Bruxelles team prior to his transfer over the winter. Meantime, we're back with Van der Walle and Rabon. Mikhail Ignatiev as well, followed by Rüdiger Selig. There's the yellow jersey of Kolobnev. Just behind him, Gianpaolo Caruso. Luca Paolini as well, just in front of the race leader. 66 is Alexander Porsev. And then we're back to the Lotto team in formation as well, with Jens de Bussere in front wearing 71. Lotto, well, perhaps today riding maybe for Kenny de Haas. Make a former quick step. Remember, Tom Bonen is there. Will he want to have another sprint? Well, if he gets into the position, why not?
Yeah, he said he was happy with his win, his first real win at UCI level after he won a Kermesse earlier on in the year. But, you know, looked strong enough and held off some good riders. Tyler Farrar being second, so he obviously feels good enough. Although he said to the press that he'll take the win, but he doesn't feel 100%. But he'll be the rider just coming back, obviously, after a big training block during the Tour de France. And he'll be looking at the Eneco Tour as well. A lot of riders targeting that World Tour race in a couple of weeks' time. It is in the Benelux area of Europe, so it starts off, I think, this year in traditionally in Holland and goes into Belgium. But very hard flat races, flat stages with some hilly stages as well, and you know, that race is just going from strength to strength. But yeah, it was good effort by Accent Jobs, the second division team, in the orange and the black yesterday. And JMP Drucker, the rider who they were riding for yesterday, finished third. And you know, it was a good effort for Accent Jobs. So at least we're starting to see some other teams mixing it with some of the World Tour teams. You can just see on the right hand side De Volder, the Belgian champion, on the right hand side moving up, but also just next to him the Radio Shack rider. But over the other side in the yellow and the red is the one of the local teams, third division team Wallonie Brussels, and they're managed by an old teammate of mine, Michel Dernisse. Is there way back in my Motorola days, so he's still involved with cycling, and it's good to see him still managing this team, and he's managed the team in this area for the last few years.
Well, he's got his son riding as well. Tom Dernisse, yes, part of the team. And number 165. Well, sugary drink for the man at the front. Rabon doing all the work. Christophe Van der Walle doing the bottle running. So 6 minutes and 11 the gap. We'll leave you for another commercial break. Remember, all the action still to come on stage 4 of the Tour de Wallonie here on Eurosport.